attention. The show is about to start. Reese on the radio. Turn it up. Turn it up loud. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Turn on your radio. Reese is on the radio.
Yo, let's get it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
It was a wall made of Swiss cheese. Let's go. I haven't seen an offensive line that garbage since the Jets played in Week 18. Oh, my goodness. Drake May. Let me give you a bit of advice, young man. Next season, buy the offensive line dinner every day during OTAs, practice, and everything. You make sure that they never, ever pay for a meal. I don't know what happened to your offensive line. I don't know what they were thinking. It must have been a free-for-all. Which on the offensive line was going, hey, guys, who wants to sack our quarterback? I've got next. Damn, that was awful. That was absolutely awful. And I was actually rooting. You have broken my record, by the way, and only New England can do it. Let me give you a little background. By the way, for those of you who are new to the program, it's Reese on the radio. Only twice in my career, when I have moved someplace, does the championship team that goes to the, to the big game has ever lost. And both times, it was the New England Patriots. When I worked in Boston, I moved there in 2007. It was the perfect season game, perfect season year. Lost to the Giants. I moved back up here. Sure enough, Patriots make it to the Super Bowl. They lose. I was hoping you break. By the way, every other town I moved to, team wins the championship. Every time. I know you're all sick. I get it. Some of you are almost half-hearted into the Patriots this year. I didn't even see any real enthusiasm. I guess the Seattle defense was absolutely tremendous, as was the New England defense. They were young kids, quick. They were on that ball. They did not make it easy on Sam Darnold. But the hell, if you didn't make I did not want Sam Darnold to be a Super Bowl winner. He used to be a Jet. And I'm hating. I'm just telling you. I'm hating. So I wasn't pleased at this game. Drake May finally came alive in the fourth quarter. I thought he had a shot. Maybe they would make it a thing. It would be impressive. But Seattle, hey, look, Seattle, congratulations. Hard fought, and they won. They were the team to beat, without a doubt. Roland made no money on his bets. I feel disappointed by that. I was really hoping you come in and tell me that you actually knocked it out of the park. You won all of this money on all these parlays and the weird money things. We had a guy at Stadium 15 who was there, and this guy won $1,000 on the coin toss. I mean, no, he bet $1,000 on the coin toss, and he got it right because it was heads. And then afterwards, I yelled at the bar, did anybody bet on the weather, on the temperature at the game? Anybody? Because apparently you could bet on anything. I know, yeah, everything. Zach says, Reese, time for you to move out. We can't stand you jinxing our team. I don't blame you for that. You're actually right on. I was excited to see the young team make it to the Super Bowl. I'm going to take that progress as great. Drake May gives me hope for the future, as he should. You're 100% right, Zach. He does. Roseanne last night won, speaking of Drake May, won a Drake May autographed jersey last night. We are going to put it in a case, and apparently, according to, I guess, the people who do the appraisals, it is worth $2,500 at this point. So we're going to lock it up, and we're going to sell it, maybe put it on eBay for somewhere close to that amount. So she won that last night. Playing, what do you call it? What's that beanbag toss thing? Cornhole? Yeah. Yeah, she played the cornhole thing. And she did that, so she was beat everybody who she played against. I didn't play any of that nonsense. I wanted no part of it. I just wanted to watch the game. Because, of course, the most important thing everybody had to watch was the halftime show. And I was going to watch TPUSA and the halftime show at the same time. But I said, you know what? It's going to be online, the TPUSA thing, and I know what they're going to do. That's easy. But this thing with the Bad Bunny thing, I had to watch it. I had to see what all the hubbub was about. There were a bunch of people who ran towards the TVs at Stadium 15. They couldn't wait. They ran right up there. We got to watch it. Oh, young people, a couple of African-American kids, some Latina women jumping up. Bad Bunny, Bad Bunny. They ran up there and they were doing the whole thing. And I know some people are out there screaming and hollering. I didn't understand it. I didn't get it. What was the big deal? Why would they do this? Some of you refuse to watch it altogether. But you're probably asking yourself, what did I miss? Well, Reese on Radio is here to help you. I think it's right that I help you. So I would like to give you my reenactment of the Taco Bell halftime show. That's what it was, the Taco Bell halftime show. Bad Bunny came out. Bunch of dancers, and he started singing. What did he sing? Well, I interpreted, I wrote it all down. Here's what it was. Spanish words, 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 Spanish words. Taco, burrito, cuchifrito, motoritos. Spanish words. Avocado, Monte-Carlo, Serrano, Ricky Ricardo. Spanish words. Spanish words. Spanish words. Spanish words. He said more Spanish words. Spanish words. Lady Gaga, Cardi B, Ricky Martin, rice and beans, frijoles, sarasa. That's a salsa. Spanish words. Spanish words. Spanish words. Spanish words. Spanish words. He said more Spanish words. And there you have it. The Taco Bell halftime show. Congratulate me. I think that was the whole thing, right? Sounded just like it.
You are you know the rest of that.
Come on, that sounded just like it. That's what I heard last night.
No, that wasn't it.
No, that wasn't it. What? Everybody says that sounded exactly like it. That was the whole thing.
Incorrect. What you did was a travesty.
Well, you didn't like the other effect, the Taco Bell.
I did like that. I did like that. That was pretty good.
Anyway.
But the rest of that
was great.
Was not.
Absolutely. All I know is that he said Spanish words.
Bad Bunny killed it.
No, he didn't. Spanish words. I'm sorry. I'm really happy about that.
He did a live wedding.
That was a real wedding.
A live real wedding.
Yeah.
That was phenomenal. He had people dressed up as grass.
Yeah.
Not millions, but hundreds of people. And it was a heightened weight requirement for that.
I understand that.
And they had to just sit there for 5 hours as grass.
Now you and I were behind the scenes, shouting at each other about this thing.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'm telling you that when I looked at this halftime show thing and why it makes no sense to me is because I looked at the videos that were online of the crowd that was at the football game. Were there people who were dancing to some music that they recognized? Absolutely. I mean, you got 75,000 people in the stands. Of course, there are going to be some people there who know Bad Bunny. The guy's got billions of downloads of his songs. He is one of, if not the most popular guy out today.
Exactly.
Okay? He is, beyond a shadow of a doubt. People kept calling him a global sensation.
He is. He's a global superstar.
I'm not going to, I can't stand by that statement. And here's why. I looked at the numbers. He roughly gets about, overall in the United States, we're looking at Bad Bunny pulling in 15% of the market in the United States, all Latina or Latino. That's in the United States. He primarily gets his streaming from Mexico City, Mexico, Santiago, Chile, Bogota, Colombia, and Lima, Peru. Guatemala City is another place. Is where a lot of stuff. So he has a lot of Latin influence. And it's clear because he speaks Spanish. Right? And so I get all of that. That's huge. It's not like the guy doesn't get billions of streams, but here's where the problem lies, Roland. And in fact, I'll let you go first on this. You think that he being at the Super Bowl was good for the Super Bowl because it reaches out to a broader audience.
Correct.
Right?
Correct. There is at the end of the day, is a business. First of all, I enjoyed the message that he was portraying.
Okay.
Which was a lot to do with family, you know, reminiscing on old times, old good times, and growing how he grew up and love and all of that stuff. And because I'm a drummer and a musician, I appreciated the music as well. Right.
Because very heavy on the percussion.
Yeah. So I enjoyed it thoroughly, and of course you gotta like the women. So that was just a cherry. That was just whipped cream and cherry on top.
Now I agree with you in the sense of it was incredibly rhythmic.
Yeah.
And
visually
appealing.
Yeah.
I like the bodega scenes and stuff like that. It does bring a Puerto Rico appeal to a national audience.
Correct.
But my argument with you that we were having back and forth is it's Puerto Rico. It's not a huge contributor to the culture here in the United States, if not abroad. It just isn't. And if it is, Bad Bunny isn't representing that. Here's why. One of the guys who was there, who performed, was Ricky Martin. Bar none, the most popular Puerto Rican to date, outside of what? Iris Chacon or Tito Puente? Ricky Martin is probably the most popular Puerto Rican known to man. Well, okay, I'll go one step further.
Mark Anthony.
Him, Mark Anthony, and I'll go one step further, from a New Yorker, Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah.
Right? Clearly. So Bad Bunny is popular with the young people. That's without an argument. My point is that it's not like he's introducing something new because he's reggaeton. He's nothing more popular than what Daddy Yankee was 20 years ago. Because Daddy Yankee was Bad Bunny 20 years ago, and everybody remembers that. Do you remember? I know you remember Daddy Yankee.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that guy practically,
Yeah, but you always need it's just like saying, okay, nobody was big as Jordan 20 years ago. Now you have LeBron. Is the same thing, but it's not. It isn't the same. It isn't the same. It's the same as far as how big of a star they are,
right?
But
the reach.
Yeah, the reach. The way they handle things is differently, business wise. The way they perform is different. So that's all of those things matter.
You think now? Do you think
he just won Album of the Year too?
I understand that, and I think that's nothing more than a marketing campaign. I've always done that. I've always believed that. But yes, he is the biggest guy in the business right now. He's everywhere. Saturday Night Live, one Album of the Year, now doing the Super Bowl. Here's where I have my problem with the fact that he was good for the NFL as far as a business decision was concerned. Kendrick Lamar last year was also controversial. But he was controversial after the fact as opposed to before. Because after the performance, people were like, what am I watching? I don't understand this. His music doesn't resonate with me because he doesn't have a lot of radio tracks. And the only track he had was the one that was a diss song to Drake, which is, of course, a phenomenon. So people argued with whether or not his performance was suitable for the NFL fans or trying to draw people to the NFL. Arguably, and what I tried to explain to the boy, because he was trying to argue this about you didn't understand this and you didn't understand that. I'm going, if it has to be explained to me that it didn't do its job, right? The objective is to appeal, not to have me quander about what exactly is it. No, none of that Super Bowl halftime show. I want to be entertained. I don't want to have to think. Oh, look, there's a girl dancing there. Oh, look, they're doing the salsa. Oh, look, there's Lady Gaga. That is what Bad Bunny managed to do in his performance last night, was to get, oh, my God, there's Lady Gaga. I'm not Puerto Rican, but okay, I'll look other ways. I'll look the other way. Bigger name than Bad Bunny? Yes?
Lady Gaga?
Yeah.
They're about what, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, again, never ever outshine the star, which I don't understand, again, why Lady Gaga's there. Cardi B's there. Bigger than Bad Bunny?
No.
No?
No, not right now.
Okay, all right, maybe not.
Not right now, she's not.
Okay. So I looked at the final numbers of this. Kendrick Lamar versus Bad Bunny. The objective was to expand, right? And you said that was what they did last night, was expand to an audience beyond the scope.
Correct.
Kendrick Lamar's number was 133 million views. To date, we have an official number by NBC for last night's Super Bowl, 135. So about a $2 million
2 million
difference.
People.
2 million more people watch the Bad Bunny thing.
Correct.
So 2 million. Would you consider that worth it?
I would because I would have to do more research and break down the demographics, because
I did.
If it was like 100 million or 80 million U.S. and 70 overseas,
right,
or whatever, but this was more, if it was more overseas than the United States, then yeah, I would. But
in order to do that, you would have to see a severe decline in U.S. numbers in order for that number to exist, right? Because remember, Kendrick Lamar has no international appeal that Bad Bunny does.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So we would have to see a serious decline in American viewership in order for it to make up the 2 extra million that Bad Bunny got. Or it would have to be just 2 million outside of the scope.
I would say it's more of a setup venture than anything.
Maybe true.
Because you're trying to get, like, they have all these new games that's going to be overseas next season. So this is like a setup for that. Good.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's the most important part of all of this. It's, again, because you agree, in your view, that the NFL made a smart business move by having Bad Bunny on the halftime show. For that reason alone, is to broaden its viewership.
To have a setup and, okay, setup, we did a little bit better than last year. That's good. That's going to look good for our people overseas.
That's exactly. So those are the numbers that I look up. When we come back from a break, I'm going to have those for you.
Okay.
Because that's an important part of all of this. It's whether or not their plan actually benefited in the long run in bringing those new viewers from out of the country to the NFL. We'll talk about that when we get back. Stand by. It's Reese on the radio.
Fan of WTIC? Then do us a favor. Download the free Odyssey app and favorite WTIC.
We're back. It's Reese on the radio. For those of you who missed it, we did our own rendition of the Taco Bell halftime show. For those of you who didn't bother, maybe you watched TPUSA. He said Spanish words, 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 Spanish words. Taco, burrito, cuchifrito, motoritos, avocado, Monte Carlo, Serrano, Ricky Ricardo. He said Spanish words, Spanish words, Spanish words, Spanish words. He said Spanish words, Spanish words, Spanish words, Spanish words. Lady Gaga, Cardi B, Ricky Martin, rice and beans, frijoles, sriracha, danza salsa, chimichanga. Spanish words. He said Spanish words. That's it. That's all you need to know. Thank me. Now you don't have to go back and watch it.
Terrible. You just added that chimichangas in there. You didn't say that the first time.
These are Spanish words. I got the accent down.
Yeah, you do.
I don't know what. It's just for me. All I'm trying to explain to everybody is that I did not care whether or not he sang Spanish, they danced Spanish, if they did a whole production. It really didn't matter. I was interested in the game, but I had to watch it because everybody else was making a big deal out of it. And this is one of those things that you made a big deal out of for no reason. And then the TPUSA event, there's scandal behind that now. Turns out Kid Rock may have been lip syncing. Like, that's a big deal now.
Well, at the size of Kid Rock now,
yes,
he should have been lip syncing because he would have been out of breath.
Exactly. I mean, he was up there. Now, look, here's the reason why people are crapping on TPUSA, right? Turning Point USA's thing. Because it wasn't a bust. 25 million people watched it. That's a big deal. That hurts a lot of people's feelings. I don't know why, but it does. Because this runs counter to the culture that's trying to regain a foothold on society. And that is Jay-Z, Bad Bunny, NFL, whatever the case may be. People feel a personal affront to what the NFL did with this Bad Bunny thing. I don't know what they're talking about. Maybe I don't understand it in the sense of I don't think that this is an important culture war, because it's not. At the end of the day, people are going to forget about it. Weirdly enough, how long did it take people to stop talking about Kendrick Lamar?
Not that long.
Yeah, exactly. Once, and I made the argument that shut everybody up. If you have to explain it, it failed. I need everybody to understand that. When Beyonce came out and did a performance, when Bruno Mars did a performance in what was considered the worst a Super Bowl game since this one, but it was the worst Super Bowl game ever. It was really low scoring, boring. Everybody hated that Super Bowl.
That was New England
versus
Rams?
Seattle. No. Not New England. It was Seattle versus Denver, I think.
Oh, Denver. Yeah. That was a blowout.
And that was in New York.
That was a blowout, yeah.
Yeah, and it was the awful game. Everybody hated it. In fact, there was a meme the next day that said a football game broke out at a Bruno Mars concert. That was the meme, because all anybody could talk about was what Bruno Mars did in that show. In fact, in an event like that, Bruno Mars brought down the house with a slow song, playing piano like a true performer does. By the way, when Prince did the Super Bowl, right? I don't know. Sorry about that. When Prince did the Super Bowl, I'm almost certain, I'm positive that the Colts played that game. I think.
Didn't it rain?
And it rained while he was doing Purple Rain. Exactly. That's what's supposed to happen. By the way, Prince is a universal artist that everybody knows at the NFL. You are going to go, like, if you're an NFL fan, no matter what walk of life you are, Prince appeals to everybody.
Yeah.
Whether the guy's wearing, buttless chaps and a fedora, it doesn't matter. It's Prince. There's a song that he will sing that every person in the building knows.
Buttless? No, you mean...
Yeah, like
the butt is out, right?
Yeah, the butt is missing.
It's not buttless.
Yeah, well, buttless pants, the chaps, or like whatever. It's a big show. It's Prince. If he sings "Let's Go Crazy," everybody in the audience knows. If he sings "1999," everybody in the place knows. When he sings "Purple Rain," everybody in the place knows. They know the words. They're singing along. They've got their their lighters out, or at least when they used to have the lighters, they have their their cell phone lights on. It doesn't matter. That's a universal artist. So when you do something like the Bad Bunny thing, you are thumbing your nose in the face of fans. Now, back to that. Who was the NFL appealing to? The argument can be made that the NFL is expanding to Latin communities, which they are, Mexico being a big one.
Yeah.
But I went and checked the numbers. Bad Bunny only appealed to Hispanic groups that were already huge NFL fans. So it wasn't sort of a outreach program. It was targeting, in a sense, right? It was like finally an artist that our Latin fans can appreciate, if you get my meaning, right? It's not a growth thing. It was a directional one. And what I'm saying in doing that is this is always a mistake as a marketing idea. Why? When Target started to do the whole transgender bathing suits, they lost $10 billion in a week. In a week.
Yeah, but I don't think that even compares.
You don't think it's the same?
No, it's not.
Okay,
the same.
You think it's two different animals.
I believe there is going to be a Super Bowl out of this country.
Agree. I think that, of course, there would be.
So
without a doubt,
I think they just laying the groundwork right now. So now they did the Latin thing.
Right.
Now they're going to do an Australia thing. They might have somebody from Australia come and do the Super Bowl, or they might, I believe back in the day they had the Rolling Stones and Eric Clapton and so they were trying to. The music was coming from there. The great music was coming from there, so they wanted that to be a part of the Super Bowl. So I think it's like the same type of structure. They did this for the Latin culture.
Yeah.
Now they just opened up like 4 new games across for next year.
Right. You might even see like an Irish group.
6 games this year. Next year is going to be 10 games.
Right.
And four new countries. So they're really trying to expand that, and they're just laying the groundwork right now.
And I agree with you. I think that what they should do in the future, and if they follow your sort of template here, which I think is a smart move, what you don't do is make it controversial from the get-go. I get Bad Bunny's a big star. Without a doubt, the streams say it, speak for themselves. But Lori brings up a good point. Some of the music that he was singing in English, somebody broke down what the words were, they're very suggestive. So he gets away with a lot of stuff because kids are watching this, and if they don't speak Spanish, they don't know that he's talking about very promiscuous and very, blue topics in his music. That's the problem that people have. It's sort of like a wool, some sort of wool been pulled over their eyes and going, they brought this guy in as an international star, but the stuff he talks about, regular NFL fans would never permit their children to watch. It's tantamount to an entire performance of Janet Jackson pulling her nipple out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way that they see it. That's the way. And hardcore fans feel like the NFL is telling them, hey, we don't need you anymore. I felt this way about Star Wars movies.
And I could tell you.
No.
They don't.
Okay, so you can honestly say they don't care about us anymore.
They don't need you anymore. That's what I'm saying. That that's why they're expanding, so they don't have to depend on you.
Interesting.
So now, the money it's not about and people are taking it personal.
Yeah, of course they do.
It's not personal though.
Yeah,
it's just like when somebody trades your favorite player away.
Yeah,
how fans react and burning jerseys.
Yeah,
and all that. This is business, and the NFL is about business and about the dollar. They don't care nothing about their core fans that the USA that love them so much, and that's been there.
If they can get the dollar elsewhere, they'll take it.
If they can get not the dollar elsewhere, they're not trying to what do you call that?
Replace the dollar?
No, what do you call that when I'm a supervisor here and there's another job over there being a supervisor paying the same pay.
Oh, you're not making a lateral move.
There you go. They're not trying to make a lateral move. They're making a humongous move as far as monetary is concerned.
Well, I said I hope it works out for them. I really do. I just don't think, to be honest with you, with the hardcore fans here and people saying more and more that I can't support the sport anymore, they better have a backup plan.
The real, like you said, hardcore fans.
Yeah,
they're not. As much as they may complain, they know they're still going to watch.
I think you're right. Like, many of them will get over it.
Just like I used to work for Xfinity and I worked in retention and I got all the bad calls all day long.
Yeah.
And all they did is complain. But guess what?
They never canceled.
Yeah.
All right, it's a good point. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. More on this, and then we'll wrap it up, and then we'll move on to a whole bunch of other stuff on the program. And plus, we'll take some phone calls, 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842, because we've got Spanish words. Don't call here with Spanish words, okay? We'll be back.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
I got to tell you the truth here. My wife is angry at me. She's not angry. She said to me, she goes, I don't know whether or not to find this funny or somewhat offensive. Sriracha is not Spanish. I'm like, I know it isn't. I just needed a word that rhymed. That's all. Doritos ain't Spanish either. But it went well with the song. That's all. That's all it's about. It's just it's meant to poke fun at everybody making fun of the fact that it was in Spanish and nobody could understand it. Lighten up. But the Taco Bell thing, that's perfect. Come on. That's hilarious. That's just hilarious. Tom is in Thomaston. How are you, Tom?
Hey, I'm doing well, Reese. Thanks.
My pleasure. What's up?
Was he singing? All I heard was drum beat and groaning or barking.
Oh,
or
my
something.
goodness. There is a clip that I saw today that I was laughing so hard at. This guy does this bit called There I Ruined It. And he did the same thing. He put up this, he put up some video, and I have to find it. It was in, goodness gracious. He put up some video where he spliced every time Bad Bunny sort of grunted in the piece. And I heard it, and it's true. Oh, here it is right here. Hold on. Let me see if I can get the audio right here for you. Stand by. This is it.
I'm on the radio.
Here, let me pull up the volume. Here it is. This is Bad Bunny's performance, taking out all the words with just him going, hey, or grunting.
Hey, just for a while. Okay.
Which, by the way, is not as good as my Spanish words.
I wanted to. Gypsy Kings.
Yes.
I don't understand a word they say, but they got melody, they got rhythm. They are fantastic.
Exactly. I still don't know what Bambaleo stands for.
Yeah. Volare, that's the interior of a leather car or something, right? I think they used that once. But there was no melody, no. You just heard that drum beat and him grunting. I don't get it. And then he's not a good-looking guy. They're right on his face. He's got this long. I mean, hey, I'm no great looker myself,
right?
But he's got this long face, and the camera's right up on him.
Look, the girls. Listen, I was at Stadium 15 last night, and when the halftime show, these people didn't even show any interest in the game. When the halftime performance started, these girls ran and stood in front of the TV. I had to stand up so I could see it. They ran up in front, and they were screaming at the TV, ow! Cardi B comes on the screen, ow! And then Ricky Martin gets up and starts screaming, and the older lady starts screaming, ah! And then me and my boys are looking at each other going, isn't he gay?
Yeah. The women don't have a big chance with Ricky Martin, but he's a good-looking guy.
He was. Didn't he look fantastic? Give it up for Ricky. Great. Boy, did he look great last night. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Reese, one last thing. In the beginning, didn't he have like a big? I don't think it was a rip, but didn't it look like his zipper was made to be wide open or something?
You know what? I'm going to admit I did not look in that direction. I was trying to read what the back. I was trying to read whatever was on the back of his jersey.
Oh,
it was what was it? Ocasio. Oh, Ocasio's his real last name. Okay, so that's okay. That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. I noticed he had a numbered shirt under the white.
He was supposed to be. It's supposed to be Jersey, oriented. But look, he did the thing, or he did the opposite of what people thought he was going to be. They thought he was going to be divisive. They thought he was going to be on there and say things like, screw ICE and, Donald Trump's a fascist. They thought that was what happened. But all he talked about was unity within the Latin community and with America. And, even though people wanted to hate it, I think people are taking a stretch on hating it. At the end, I looked at it and went, hey, dude, okay, it was all right. I wish I understood it. But I thought it was okay. It was clever.
Yeah. Gypsy Kings next year, Reese.
Yeah, no doubt. I hope Jay-Z's heard of them. Thank you, Tom. I appreciate you, man. You got it. Yeah, hopefully Jay-Z's heard of them. I want them to get back. Don't make me sound like an old fogey. It's not that I want them to go back to being, the old fogey ways of the NFL. I don't need another Aerosmith, singing Dream On, although that was great. But I want a performance like when Bruno Mars and the Red Hot Chili Peppers, when they perform, I want something close to that. That was great. I've never been more excited. And I was barely a Bruno Mars fan when he performed at that Super Bowl. But by the end of it, I love Bruno Mars. And I know somebody just told me not too long ago that he walked past them in at a casino. I think it was Mohegan Sun. And he yelled at somebody for not looking at him. I was like, okay, he might be a jerk. But I think he's a great entertainer. I can put all that other stuff aside. Anyway, let's get to the top of the hour news. Dave Mager is in for John Silva today. We've got plenty of stuff to talk about. Plus, our guest, who's coming in tomorrow. At least I hope she is. He hasn't responded to me yet. We'll be back. It's Reese on the radio. It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
Reese on the radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Yeah, we are back. We are back and better than ever after this Super Bowl. So football's gone. And so we're going to have to wait until springtime for baseball to come back. I know there's basketball out there, but, I don't really watch it at this point. I'll wait until we get close to playoff games for basketball to start watching it. So, it'll kind of be a lull sports-wise for now. But again, congratulations to the Seattle Seahawks. Kind of my secondary team. Kind of. But that was when it was the Legend of Boom. And Legion, when I say Legend, Legion of Boom. I said Legend of Boom. Legion of Boom, thank you. So that era's over. I kind of, who my secondary team is now, really? I really like this kid Purdy at San Francisco. I really do. I root for that kid. He's made a hell of an impact on his team, so I kind of like watching them. That was JC, my producer. That was his team. He loved the San Francisco 49ers. And I was a big Montana fan growing up, too. So I kind of I keep them in spirit because of JC. So I always remember them. I want to thank, by the way, all the haters. Let me give you a round of applause. You haters. Let me tell you why. You were laughing at that whole Spanish words bit, even though you were trying your best to twist yourselves into a pretzel to defend Bad Bunny, a guy whose music you don't even own. But you have found a way to make this about Trump. Because, I just saw this online. It's like I got members of my peer group, family group, all online upset about Trump hating the Super Bowl halftime show. And I'm like, so what? Did you enjoy it? If you are defending it because Trump hated it, do you understand that that's the whole rub? How do you not get that? That's the ultimate troll. And you think you're competing with him. He doesn't see your post. He doesn't even know what you're upset about. And he doesn't care. So your post, and Donald Trump puts up a post and says, that was the worst Super Bowl halftime show ever. And the rest of you actually respond to it like you're at high school and you think that the valedictorian is going to see your post and change his mind. Nobody cares. I don't even care that Donald Trump hated it. Like, I was not sitting around going, boy, can't wait to see what Donald Trump says. You were, though. And people who are like, why are you making fun of that he's speaking Spanish? I'm not. I'm making fun of the fact that I don't speak Spanish and a lot of us who do not. That's the whole point of the joke. And if you weren't such a partisan hack who needs to be upset about anything, by the way, defending a guy who you don't even support, you support this show more than you support Bad Bunny. How do I know? You're listening to it. Where's your Bad Bunny music? Show me now. Go online. Send me a text with all of your Bad Bunny downloads. You have none. You don't listen to that guy. You don't listen to his music. You don't know his best songs. You couldn't figure out his favorite color. But you're hating on me. You support me more than you support him. Laugh at the joke. The joke is funny. Trust me, I tested it. On myself, of course, because I was laughing my behind off when I was doing it this morning. I didn't even let my wife know. I just called her a little while ago, and she says, I don't know whether or not to laugh or to be offended. She's Mexican. I'm on the show ringing the Taco Bell. It's funny. And I don't have to explain it. Goodness gracious. Let's go to the phones. I'm going to go with Simsbury Joe first. How you doing, Joe?
Hello there. So I'd like to talk about the upcoming election, but before that, I'll give you my 2 cents on this Bad Bunny thing.
Yeah, please.
So I look at it, and I look at a lot of things conspiratorially, as people know.
Oh, yeah.
I see this not as a big business decision by the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
I saw this very much as a psyop.
Okay.
And the reason for that is that when he was first announced, I didn't know who the guy was.
Right.
And one of the first things he does is he's at Yankee Stadium and they play God Bless America, and he stays on his duff.
That's right.
Now, the Super Bowl, I argued with people about this. They seem to think that, no, the Super Bowl is the NFC versus the AFC and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you know, I've been a football fan my entire life. I don't remember ever not being a football fan.
Right.
That is not the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is bigger than that. The Super Bowl is about community. It is, you know, yes, these are the two representatives, but people get together in groups. It's about community.
Yep.
It's about a lot of other much bigger things than the winner of the NFC versus the winner of the AFC.
People treat it, it's an American holiday. Unofficial, that being, but it is a holiday, an American one at that.
Yeah, so right off the bat, this guy creates all kinds of issues, and he walks right into the issues by staying seated during God Bless America.
Mm-hmm.
And then he starts coming out with other anti-American stuff. And then in the end, I don't blame him for the choreography. That's not his job.
Right.
Some of the disgusting things that I saw with two guys grinding on each other at the truck, and you know, the woman bent over, and I won't get into any more description than that.
Understood.
That was other people sending a message with a big middle finger to America.
Indeed.
You know, he didn't. I didn't think the performance was great. I don't think he's a good singer. I would have loved to see Shakira. You know, I don't think this guy's very talented. I don't know what the appeal of this guy is. And part of me thinks that he's part of the psyop. Because I've seen so many other Hispanic people online saying, you know something, it really wasn't a good performance. I can think of about 100 other Hispanic singers that are far better than him.
Indeed.
That would have gotten the crowd up dancing, because the crowd video, they're not moving other than a couple of women. So that's why I think there's some sort of psyop, and it's not just NFL, you know, looking for money, because I just don't think it is. So that was my 2 cents on it.
Go for it.
So the election. I'm going to make a statement that people are going to have a hard time wrapping their heads around, and
you're talking about the November gubernatorial election, just so we're clear.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I'm sorry. We have been brainwashed to think that these elections are about economics. These elections are about the wallet. Mm-hmm. These elections are about people's jobs. Well, maybe on a federal level, they might be. But I'm going to make a statement here that in the state of, and I'm trying to use the logic part of my brain.
Sure.
In the state of Connecticut, other than state employees and their families that will frequently vote to continue what they're getting.
Yeah.
We do not vote economically in the state of Connecticut.
Very true.
Because if we did, we would not be in the situation that we're in. Governor Lamont did not create this situation in the last year and a half. This has been going on. We've been hearing about it. We've been warned about it. And to me, that says people will show up, and economics for the gubernatorial election is not really what they're caring about.
That's right.
And that I think whoever the Republican nominee is going to make a colossal mistake, because I think they're going to focus on things like, and I was the one who called in about public benefits.
Right.
I'm going to cut public benefits by 50%. Do you really think that's going to change the votes of a lot of the suburban women who are part of the left-wing cult these days?
That's correct.
No. What's going to change the votes is we had an election, and these were the local elections, and before those local elections, Governor Lamont said, I'm not going to sign this bill having to do with affordable housing. And then after that, when he looked reasonable, then he said, okay, now it's fixed. But what do we have? We have like Glastonbury right now going nuts because they want to put big affordable housing across the street from an elementary school. And all these people who are Democrats, all these people who are part of this club are saying, no, you can't do that. And we were the ones who said, this is what it's all about.
We told them what was going to happen.
Yeah, this is just one. I made a list. I'll have to do the list over other calls. But this is just one item where our nominee needs to go nuts on this and be aware that the Democrats are going to say, you're just doing it because you're racist. It's like, no.
Yeah,
we're doing it because it's a bad idea, and they lied to you, and they shoved it down your throat.
Exactly. Joe, that's the reason why we have to have this debate in April. The bottom line is that it's because, and again, this is why it's primarily focused on two things, two very important things, and that is you and the business community in Connecticut, because those are the core things that are being ignored in Connecticut, because businesses, struggling to stay here who are forced to leave. We're going to get them in there so they can ask these candidates what they're going to do for them. But more importantly is about the people who are not talking about the economic stuff. That's easy. That stuff is like, it's what do you call it? It's throwing rocks in a lake. Nobody cares about that stuff because it's easy to answer. It's what you're talking about is this absolute complete overhaul of the rule of law and communities. Because that bill, that housing bill, 8002, is an absolute, I've never seen anything more insane. And not only that, talk about a complete override of of Connecticut as a society, or even as a state, is the other House bill, 5044.
You know what? You're absolutely right. And one of the things, and I'll just conclude with this, is that I try to put myself into the position of not being me, meaning that you know me. I am not going to hesitate to have a conversation with anyone about any topic, anywhere, at any time. Try to cancel me, and I'll be down your throat, and you will wish you never tried to cancel me. But that's me. So I have to look at it as I'm a mom who's very concerned about this kind of a thing, and I'm worried about really opening up to the other moms in the community because I don't want my kid to not be invited to the birthday parties.
Right.
So people are not opening up and having the fight about, our gas is $3. It's because of our gas cut. No one's talking about that.
Yeah.
But you want to talk about, hey, I don't want affordable housing in that open field next to my house.
That's right.
I'll fight you on that as a liberal. If you're a liberal mom and I'm a liberal mom, or I'm not a liberal mom, and you're not going to vote against the people who did that, I'm going to go right after you, because in the end, if I make enough of a stink, enough people say, something, that person's right. These other people are wrong. So these are the kind of topics that we need to give the ability, not for the candidate to articulate, because that, again, assumes people are smart, but for the average person out there to articulate and not give a darn about what other people think because it's so outrageous and it's so important.
Exactly. I was just saying this. We were at an event over the weekend, and I said, these conversations can't happen at these little town halls. These are conversations we need to be having with people on the street. And again, it's got to be, it's not even just about door knocking. It's got to be neighbor to neighbor talking about this exact thing. We cannot leave it to politicians to do that work for us. We have all got to get out there and do our part. Even if it's to sort of take the enthusiasm out of those who would vote for Lamont, who would only end up, in my view, looking at that. If he were to win election again, it would be a permission slip to go even further, in my view.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
And in future calls, I'll go over a couple of other things that
you got it.
People need to absolutely be jumping on other people with. First of all, educate them. I use language like jump on them, but you got to educate them first.
Yeah.
And then you got to say, what do you think? And then when they act stupid and they're not getting it, then you have the big ammo that comes out.
You got it. Thank you, Joe, as always.
Thank you.
You got it. White Mike, I'm assuming you have an opinion on Bad Bunny and TPUSA, if not both.
Oh, Jesus Christ. First of all, do you unthaw a turkey?
Do you unthaw a turkey? No, I don't even know. No, I don't think so. No.
Correct. Because you thaw a turkey.
Yeah.
There's no such thing in the world as assless chaps because all chaps are assless. Otherwise, they're pants.
I don't. Okay, fine. I don't know what the point is here, but fine. Okay, I always thought that was the term because that's the term. I learned that term from this movie Dodgeball. That's what what's the name says in the movie.
Otherwise, pants. Roger Goodell being so afraid of offending any minority after the whole Colin Kaepernick thing that they hired Jay-Z, the Illuminati monster, to put all these things together. And I think it's awfully funny that we're all talking about this bisexual Puerto Rican with the worst halftime show in freaking history.
Probably.
When we just found out that Jeffrey Epstein and his boys were probably eating babies.
Yes. Listen, don't steal my thunder. That's all for Whack Job Wednesday. We have a whole show dedicated to that, which I will tell you right now, you better be a part of.
Well, I work, so probably not.
Okay.
Not to do it after 5.
Yeah. Okay.
Dude, it's just a joke. They're so stupid. This was a San Francisco Super Bowl. There was one choice for Super Bowl halftime show, and they didn't have the balls to do it, and that's Metallica.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, you're absolutely right. That is crazy. I would have dealt with a Metallica halftime show. Why not?
Still one of the biggest bands in the world who fill stadiums globally.
Still do.
So we have to watch a bisexual Puerto Rican, and don't tell me the Simsbury Jim or whatever called earlier and said, "Oh, I don't blame that guy for the choreography." You don't think the bisexual dude who wears dresses wanted to see two guys humping? Of course he did.
Well, meaning he knows that Bad Bunny does not do the choreography, but you're right on the point. He probably didn't object to it.
I'm sure he didn't say, I want to make sure you have the guy teasing. It's absolute poison.
Hey, he at least had a traditional wedding.
Dude, it's cultural purpose. It's not cultural appropriation. It's cultural warfare.
Yeah.
This was the left sticking in our faces. And again, Jay-Z's in the Illuminati. Jay-Z was Epstein's boy. Don't trust anything coming out.
I never trusted. I was hating Jay-Z before it was popular. Trust me, never trusted that guy. Never, ever.
And I don't know what's wrong with Trump, man, but why did he allow the British not only appoint Lord Mandelbaum, the pedo, to be ambassador to the U.S., but he appoints Howard Lutnick to be Treasury Secretary, and that guy.
He's going to have to he's going to have to rethink that. I think there's going to be a shuffling of the deck very soon behind that.
And again, I'm pretty sure Howard Lutnick doesn't eat bacon.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Just when I think he's not going to be that controversial, White Mike does. He does. Let me see if I get Bob on his cell phone in real quick. Hello, Bob. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing si hablo español, but no comprehendo.
It's all Spanish words here, sir.
Well, I like I said, si hablo español, but I didn't even know who this guy was. But it was a disgrace. But anyway,
you didn't like it?
No, not at all. I didn't like the game either because my boys lost. So what are you going to do?
Yeah, I mean, wait a minute, hold on. Here's a beautiful part. I look at this as I really do believe there's going to be a reshuffling of the deck as it goes with the offensive line, because I can't believe that offensive line got Patriots to the Super Bowl. I have no idea what happened to them last night, other than the fact that they either had the butterflies or they were just god awful. But there's going to be a reshuffling of that deck because they couldn't protect that boy if they tried.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, back to Connecticut.
Yeah.
Now the gubernatorial election this fall, there's word out that maybe the comptroller is going to challenge Lamont.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I heard. Or one of the cabinet members is going to challenge. There's going to be a primary with the. I don't call them Dems anymore, Reese. I call them commies.
I know. But do you think this late in the game? I mean, it's not really late. I mean, it's like 11 months, probably a little less than that. But somebody from inside the cabinet is going to primary him?
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing from a couple of guys in the legislature. Now, if this happens, I really do think a Republican is going to have a better chance. But another thing.
Yes, sir.
With Lamont, okay, the Republicans, I mean, they don't fight enough for me.
I'm with you.
I was a Teamster for 43 years, a union rep. And I just retired 2 years ago. And 15 years ago when Obama was there, we all went to the Republicans, all of us. That's why you have O'Brien this term for the midterms only supporting Republicans nationwide.
Yeah.
He supports Trump because the membership gave him the ultimatum. Okay? Think of this.
I hear you.
Look at Lamont. On Wednesday last week, he signs into law taking away tax-free overtime statewide. Yep. Overtime and tips. I mean, another thing, with his housing stuff. I'm in that little town of Granby, Kyle Reese.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they just had the Supreme Court decision. The townspeople showed up. Yep. And they're going to abide by the Supreme Court decision, getting the pornography out of the classroom and out of the library. And they said, we're going to follow the state guidelines. Well, the other day, they're not going to follow it, Reese. And they had a ninth grade reading assignment. I couldn't finish reading it.
Wow.
It was totally
I got to take a hard break here, buddy, but I totally appreciate you. Thank you for all of that, and I'll follow up on the Granby thing.
We got 4 lawsuits now, Reese, by the way.
Good. Keep me informed. Thank you, boss.
You
got it. Let me take a break. We'll be back. More news, more views. We'll talk about ICE and what Blumenthal is asking them to do in the new funding bill when we return. It's Reese on the radio.
Listen to WTIC News Talk 1080 on the free Odyssey app. Download and like WTIC today for alerts on special programming.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat what you just said in the background of the show? What?
There's a sports analyst.
Okay.
Acho, I don't know. Not Ocho Cinco.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about. It's an African-American guy, last name Acho.
Yeah.
Yeah, worst race baiter known to man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a real piece of work.
Yeah, he says this country's leaders can learn a lot from Bad Bunny's performance.
Really?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah, well, I've been...
About love and God Bless America and other things that was presented.
All right, here we go. This isn't against you, Roland. I apologize. I know, I'm not. Okay, let me start explaining to these people, and I hear this kind of stuff all the time. I read a Miami Herald article today about Bad Bunny's performance. Since it's got to go there, I really, really did, and I'm being straight with you so that everybody understands. Haters too. I started this whole thing today with just one thing in mind when it came to the performance last night in the Super Bowl. And that was, hey, for the kids who enjoyed it, I'm glad they enjoyed it. Guys like White Mike and Simsbury Joe notwithstanding, I get where they're coming from. There's a lot of that sort of background stuff that's going on, the PSYOP stuff. I'm not dismissing that, just so everybody understands. I don't even want to play fair and balanced and all that other stuff. I get where that's coming from. Hear me out. First of all, I think the people who are involved in, like, in essence, the recipients of said PSYOP are too stupid. Okay? And those people are already depraved individuals. I saw them last night. These people have absolutely no home training. They're savages. They're already savages. Just so we understand each other. Anybody who saw that performance and saw, the women with the short skirts and the twerking and, the obvious, let's just say inappropriate behavior that was happening, that is already appealing to the worst of us that already exists. I don't think that there was a person who has their moral compass was looking that, saying to themselves, yeah, I suddenly feel like being a whore. Nobody thought that. Okay? Just so we're clear. Nobody thought about being, all of a sudden, Bad Bunny is going to talk me into being promiscuous and dressing half naked throughout the world. Those people are already his fans. So forgive me if I'm not going all out with the craziest. But let me get to this point. Bad Bunny showing the rest of us how to love. With all due respect, stop taking everybody for being as stupid as you. People who write these stupid articles like in the Miami Herald. Bad Bunny showed us that the United States is not just the U.S. Now, what the hell is it then? What do you think, Puerto Rico is the U.S.? Now, this is going to hurt, so sit down. Puerto Rico is not the U.S. Puerto Rico is a welfare state. You know it's a welfare state. We take care of Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is the broke brother that sleeps on our couch, who never had a job and eats all of our food. Do we understand each other? Huh? Yeah, WNBA, same thing. You're a bum. Let's just call it what it is. Cultural involvement in America notwithstanding. I think it's great that you gave us Jennifer Lopez. I think it's great you gave us Tito Puente. I think it's great that you gave us Mark Anthony and Ricky Martin. I think it's great that you gave us Daddy Yankee, and hell, I'll even say Bad Bunny. Apparently, they are incredibly successful. But please, please, never ever give the impression that you were teaching the rest of us, one, how to love, and two, how to be American. We got that covered. Okay? When you start contributing something to these great United States other than a bunch of half-naked girls dancing on a 50-yard line, then you can say something. Don't ever get it twisted. Every one of us knows what love is. Every one of us, every day, fight for the love of this country. We understand love more than a lot of people you know. You think love comes with some sort of transaction that involves a bedroom. You have no idea what love is. Love of country, love of neighbor, love of God, love of Jesus Christ. Those things you laugh at. Those things you think are square. Don't tell me about love. You can't show us what love is. And I suggest you stop patting yourself on the back, giving us this impression that you know better. Most of you people are a bunch of savages, and you know who you are. Because if you could look at the violence that happens in Puerto Rico, or you could look at the violence that happens in Puerto Rican communities in and around this country, and then tell us that Bad Bunny, who contributes to that with a lot of his reggae tone-deaf music, and then come here and tell us that you're teaching us something, what? What are you teaching us? That you have rhythm? None of that buys the rice or beans that you guys eat. With all due respect, I'm sick and tired of people telling Americans who they are. And every time you seem to express that, it's about something that most of us look at and go, I don't recognize. So that guy, Ocho, that guy hates this country. He wants it to look like Puerto Rico. The people in Puerto Rico don't want this country to look like Puerto Rico. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. I'm also getting sick and tired of people coming here with their flags representing it on our soil, but refusing to go back to the flag that represents that country. Just tell the truth. You don't like us. You don't like anything about us. But you like everything that we accomplish. You're jealous of us. You're a hater. And what you're upset about is the fact that we are now getting a backbone to start showing you what hate really looks like. You think you can walk over here and urinate on all of us and then turn around and tell us that, oh, no, it's just raining? You think you could come over here, you could spit on us, you can burn our flag? You could tell us how horrible of people that we are, and you think that we're supposed to just be welcoming to you? You think that's how we're supposed to behave? Those days are over. Because your only defense for that nonsense is calling us Nazis and racists. Well, guess what? We're your huckleberries. We'll be that all day, every day. Let me play something for you, just for you people out there, especially you Miami Herald writers and you Ocho or Achu guys, whatever it is. Let me play something for you, just so you understand. This is what we are up against, and this is the reason why we don't give a damn about whatever it is, bachata or whatever music you're dancing around to or whatever it is you're telling us about love and about culture. We don't give two damns about that. You want to know why? It's because of stupid things like this.
I always tell people the day the Latino, African American, Asian, and other communities realize that they share the same oppressor is the day we start winning. Because we are the majority in this country now. We have the ability to take over this country and to do what is needed for everyone and to make things fair. But the problem is our communities are divided. They're completely divided.
That guy said that once they recognize, all the minorities, that they have the same oppressor, and once they get in charge, they can make things fair. For the oppressors? Do you think they're going to treat us fairly after they take over from the so-called oppressors? And you think those are the people we're supposed to bow down for? You think those are the people that we're supposed to let in freely? We're supposed to let down our guard and show us love? I think you guys know my response to that. It's about time some people start doing some spitting back. You can't have this place. You say we stole it, steal it back. You say it's not ours, come take it. You really think it belongs to you? Well, put in the effort that we put in to take it from you. And if you don't think that you're going to get a fight, keep trying. It's about time somebody just told people how it is. I know a lot of people out there are bored and tired and I can't take this anymore. Yeah. I'm not one of those people. Get your back up. Just so you know. Nobody's going to, I'm done with it. I tried to be fair about this whole Bad Bunny thing. I tried to be nice about it. I didn't want to rip on anybody. We cracked a little bit of a joke, but you know what? A lot of people getting a little reckless. As we used to say in the neighborhood, you get a little reckless with the mouth. A lot of people talking trash. Like I said, you think we stole it? Come take it back. Come take it back. You can't have it. How about that? Huh? You can't have it. We stole it fair and square. We'll be back.
It's Reese on the radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
The white man said that you can't do nothing because you're African American. The white man.
Yeah, that's, you know what, I tell this story all the time. When I was 15, my Uncle Nicky, he looked just like Richard Pryor, sounded like him. We always used to say it. It was like, man, you could be his double. Nicky was funny. But he used a lot of curse words like Richard Pryor did. But I always thought he was funny. Because, you know, when you're a kid, you know, when the adults use curse words, you think every curse word is hilarious. But the first time he ever asked me, I said, what do you want to do? He said, what you going to do when you get older, boy? I said, I'm going to be on the radio. He said, a white man ain't going to let you do that. And yeah, imagine how devastated you are when somebody you respect, who you think is one of the funniest people in the world, says that to you. White man ain't going to let you do that. And you get older and you realize, like somebody said, I'll never forget it when Dutch told me. Dutch told me this a long time ago. Older black man. I always refer to him. If you ever hung around me a long time, you'll hear me talk about Dutch. I consider one of the greatest mentors I ever had in my life when I was going back and forth through group homes and shelters and things like that. And Dutch was in Staten Island in Tottenville. He was a counselor there. He was the guy who played, first guy who ever let me hear Hotel California. And he loved Old Black Man. He loved that song. Loved the guitar solo in that song. And the first time he told me that, he said, white man ain't gonna let you do what? He said, boy, don't listen to that nonsense. He said, whatever you want to do, you better do that. You want to be somebody, you better fight hard. Do whatever you want. White man don't care about you. White man don't even see you coming. White man taking care of his own business. A lot of these dudes, old dudes too, they still scared of the white man. They still talk about the white man like he's lurching over the corner. What that Negro doing? That Negro making a life for himself? Go get him. Let a white man sit up there with a whole posse full of boys. You see that Negro over there? Yeah, he over there trying to make a career of himself. Go over there and get him. It's 2026. Get your head out of Selma, fool. White man trying to keep his family alive. White man trying to keep his get his kids into school. Trying to pay his property taxes. Trying to get Lamont out of office. You know, white man waking up every morning just going, what the Negroes doing today? I'm going to put a stop to them. Don't get mad because you're getting laughed at. Don't get mad. That's the truth. Nobody cares. Get your butt out there and get to work. Stop trying to find an excuse with your phony straw man. The evil white man sitting there with his finger on the pulse of your life. What am I going to do with Trevor today? Look. Yes. Let's get his teenage daughter pregnant without a father. Push that button. We'll put his aunt on welfare. Yes! We've done it! I can't take it. I just can't. I make fun of it because it's silly. I'm sorry. I'm done. That's all. Just please, stop boring me with that nonsense. It's silly. Let's get out of here. Let's take a break. Let's check traffic and weather. Folks getting home or getting out of work real early. I don't blame you. Let's get to Mark Christopher. He is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. How we doing, sir?
It's Reese on the radio. And don't say we didn't warn you on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Okay, so you guys know that last week I was talking about HB House Bill 5044. And I know that there is someone else who is all over this, and that woman's name is Kate Prokop. Now, I got in touch with Kate on Facebook yesterday or the day before, and I have offered her an opportunity to come into the studio. I know that she's into coming in, or at least wants to be on the show, or will be on the show. However, I did not get out to her that I wanted her in studio. At least she hasn't responded to me yet. So if someone does know Kate or has her number or how to reach her, please reach out to her and tell her to get in touch with me so I can know if I'm going to have her on the phone or if she'll be in studio tomorrow, because she is very, very involved in a petition that is online. I posted it on my Facebook page. Please go to it for you to sign a petition to fight House Bill 5044. And I see a lot of people have already started to sign it and said that they've already done it. Thank you all for doing that. But again, if you know Kate and you know how to reach her, no matter how you know how to reach her, get a message to her. The Reese on Radio wants to know if she's going to be on the program tomorrow, if she'll be here live in the studio or over the phone. I would prefer to have her here to sit down for an hour to have a discussion. But if she's on the phone, I'll just do it for 25 minutes. But I'd really love to have her here. So if you know her, please tell her. Katie Prokop, please come on to the show tomorrow. Well, at least I know she wants to be on the show tomorrow. But get in touch with her and tell her to get in touch with the show or get in touch with me and let me know what she's going to do. Let's get another check of traffic and weather. Mark Christopher's here. He is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
We're back. You can actually start getting on the phones if you feel like it this Monday, 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. Always remember to go to WTIC.com, download the Odyssey app, or go to ReeseOnRadio.com to check out the show and the program. Anyway, so this weekend, I went to an event. Betsy McCoy was there. Jonathan DeBarros was there. And a bunch of other great people were there. Linda D. There was, I think, goodness gracious, there are some people I took some pictures with here. I don't want to give their full names because they didn't give me permission to say it. But I just want to thank all the folks there who I did get to meet. Marianne was there, who actually saw me at a restaurant a couple of weeks ago. She was there at the event, and she listens all the time. There's so many people who tell me that they listen all the time, and they're very excited when I come into town. So thank you, folks, for that. It is very overwhelming, but it always puts a smile on my face that you guys are excited when I'm in town. I just heard, I was talking to Rodney at 10 Main. We go there every Sunday now. This is our second Sunday because we go there before we go to church. And he was saying that someone that works on one of his other jobs is a woman who listens to the show all the time. She was so excited that we had come into 10 Main. So I hope I get to meet you, ma'am, next weekend when we go there for breakfast. They were nice enough to get me an onion Kaiser roll. You know, there's an old saying that says, what is it, a closed mouth doesn't get fed or whatever it is. I said, hey, can I get a Kaiser roll over at 10 Main? And they got it. And I want to say, Rebecca asked me to do this, Rodney's wife, Rebecca. I did. I had the chocolate chip cookie after work, and I can only tell you this. More, please. More. I'm not going to be eating as much as I used to, but I will get another one, and thank you for giving me one for free. Don't ever do that again. You got to make me pay for it, okay? And I appreciate you doing that. So Rebecca and Rodney over at 10 Main, if you're ever in that area, go check them out and show them some love. They're great people, and it's a great little store. I can't wait until the warm weather comes out because Rosanna and I are very excited to sit in a patio out there. And it's a little hideaway place, but if you find it, you're going to love it, and everybody in the neighborhood loves that place too. So go check them out. What else was there? And we got a church. I don't want Teresa to get mad at me. Teresa, don't be upset at me. It's just that some of the churches are really, really far. This one was close. And not only that, Roseanne and I are going to be starting an AA meeting there. So I want to thank those folks over at Bridge Community for doing that for us. So not that we will not make it out to other churches. I mean, if you're ever looking for a speaker, hey, holla at your boy. I'd love to come by. And I'm really going to get involved with the church now. And I didn't do this before. And I don't, just so I'm clear here. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to then, start coming into the show and, asking people as I read from the Bible. I'm not going to be that guy. I promise you. I am not going to be one of those over-the-top zealous. And the Bible says. I'm not. Nothing against the guys who do that. I'm just not. This is for me personally. Last night, I had a conversation with myself, or, some people might say talk to God. And I really just started thinking about it. And I said, it's been a long time since I had a relationship with the church or with my faith. And I've always believed in a higher power, and I'm really finding myself sort of longing to do this. Like there's something inside that's just kind of been nudging at me, and it's real. And I woke up this morning thinking about it, and it was a completely different feeling than I've ever had in my life, other than when I got sober. And it's transformative in a way that I've never felt since I got sober. And it's new. It might be because it's new. But I'm really thinking about it in a way that I never thought about it before. And I was thinking, this is how crazy this is. And I'll tell you exactly what I mean by it. And many of you who do follow the faith, you'll know exactly what you might know what I'm talking about. I immediately started imagining myself like anywhere and everywhere I could within the church. In a sense of like going on retreats, going on missions. Like I hear all these stories like Tim Tebow, going to the Philippines where his family has, does mission work out there. And I started imagining myself doing that. And it was wild because you guys have listened to me long enough. I don't like to travel. I'm not a flying kind of guy. But last night and this morning, I woke up and these visions were popping into my head saying, can you imagine like going to another foreign country? We had Brad Brandon here on the show last week on Wednesday talking about him going to, to Nigeria and the atrocities that are happening to Christians there. And I don't know what it is. It's just been this overwhelming feelings. I kept saying to myself, it's like, why wouldn't you do something like that? If you could, wouldn't you? And it kept this sort of desire that was going, yeah, that would be cool. Like, I think that would really be fulfilling. So I'm really in that space right now. And I don't, like I said, I don't know. Maybe one of you can help me understand it because I'm new. When I say a novice at this, I don't know, again, what's come over me. But if you know what I'm feeling and can understand it and help me understand it, absolutely. Go in the chat room at reesontheradio.com. Or on YouTube or on X and just, let me know. I'll be happy to read it, or just call 860-522-WTIC. It's just really, I find myself asking questions and I'll put it this way. What's really, really great about it is I get an opportunity to do something I've not done since I was a child. And that was express my curiosity for something good. Right, it's like, tell me more about this story in the Bible, or tell me what it says about these things in the Bible, that some of these things that I go through. What does it say in the Bible about that? And, without having somebody really teach me, which is what I'm going to do, I'm going to, kind of talk to Pastor Todd about it, but I'm asking these questions online. It's like, tell me what the Bible says about this, what it says about that. I'm very curious about these things. Who's this? Craig. Craig says, that's the Holy Spirit calling you. God has a purpose for you. And you're right. I do know that. I do know that he does. Reese, I would absolutely never be mad at you for following your heart. Who am I to say what church you belong to? As long as it preaches salvation through Jesus, you're on the right track. Thank you very much, Teresa. I mean, I know you're better than that. You wouldn't be that spiteful. But I just wanted to make sure that I was clear on that. So it is really, it's been an overwhelming experience in the last day. Wow, because I went to church yesterday, and I'm sitting there in the church, and I'm listening to the songs, and I don't know if it's weird because as I'm sitting there in the church, and then we had a Pastor Brian Connolly from Pennsylvania, Philadelphia to be exact. He drove 5 hours up to be there, and he was giving, he was talking to us and giving a sermon. And I was thinking about how wonderful that is that he could travel with his daughter, come all the way up and preach the gospel all the way up in Connecticut. And my mind is wandering in all these other different places about, not that I'm not listening to him, but as I'm listening to him, I'm hearing the gospel in a different way. It's interesting. But that leading me to saying that, that's what I need to do. I need to take, a pilgrimage to some of these places that other people go and really see what the world is like. And I don't know, it's a whole bunch of stuff. I could do this all day. So thank you, everybody, for your well wishes on that. Let me see. Richard Blumenthal. He was talking about how he was going to refuse to fund anything, sign anything that does not give Democrats their demands to reform ICE. And these reforms are plentiful. There are 10 things that they wish to reform. And so I made out a list of what these reforms are, and they're interesting. One of them is targeted enforcement. DHS officers cannot enter private property without a judicial warrant. They must end indiscriminate arrest and improve warrant procedures and standards. Require verification that a person is not a U.S. citizen before holding them in immigration detention. Now, why is this ridiculous? Because this would grind every ICE operation to a halt by demanding that the court approve warrants for every single entry or an arrest. That means before they go out on someone, they have got to go to a judge who may not sign off on it, even if their arrest has been adjudicated and they are to be removed. They wish to put another stop on ICE agents. You know about this, no mask. This is stupid. But let me tell you, people say that the reason why people like Richard Blumenthal are demanding no mask for the agents, they say, oh, they want these agents to get killed. Nope. That may be a byproduct of them taking off their masks, but there is something else afoot. And I know you guys know it. It is to deter recruitment or people who will stay. See, if it's mandated that they can't wear a mask, that means that people will leave the job because they understand the risk. They would go, nope, can't put on a mask. I can't protect myself. I'll quit. So it is to drain the numbers of people who are ICE agents because out of fear, they'll just leave the organization entirely. That's what that's about. What else is here? Oh, require ID. This is another one. Require DHS officers conducting immigration enforcement to display their agency, unique ID number, and their last name. Require them to verbalize their ID number and last name if asked. Now, who's going to be asking? Huh? Who's going to be asking? Rogelio? Huh? Or is it going to be Susan? With the Frappuccino latte, Guatemalan coffee bean drink. Who do you think is going to be asking? And that person who we know is going to put him as, again, a deterrent for ICE agents to no longer stay on the job. Protect sensitive locations. Prohibit funds from being used to conduct enforcement near sensitive locations, including medical facilities, schools, child care facilities, churches, polling places, etc. Polling places? Why would an immigrant be near a polling place? Why would they be near a polling place? I wouldn't have included that. Are you talking about cleaning the place? Cleaning the polling place? Why would you include polling places? Like, if that's not a gimme, if that's not that's not even a red flag. Like, that's like, hey, see what we're doing here? Like, right to your face. That's insanity. Those are the top 5 out of 10. When we come back, I will read the rest of them. Let me take Eric. He's in Hartford. How are you, Eric?
Hey, Reese. Good to hear your voice again. How
Thank you, sir. I'm great, man. You too?
Good. I'm doing great. I'm Craig's buddy. You know Craig.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, are you back in town here?
Always have been. I've been here since October.
Oh, God bless you. God bless you.
Thank you, man.
You're looking for some mission work and some retreats in church. How can I help? I'm connected to an amazing church right here in East Hartford. How can I help you?
Well, I would say, you know what? Stay on the line. Let me get your number, and we will talk off the air. And,
that's perfect.
All right, just stay on the line. 1 second for me. Yeah, that would be fantastic. You got it. Let me take Pete while we have him on hold. Hey, how are you, Pete?
Pete from East Haven. How you guys doing?
I'm good, sir.
Reese, you're wonderful, Reese. And those top 5 things you just went through that they want to get rid of ICE. You talk about the Democrat Party. It is so hypocritical.
Sorry.
Go through those 5 things. It's everything the opposite of what they've been fighting for forever. Go to the 5.
It's
the opposite. Masks?
Yep.
What, Democrats don't want masks anymore? What am I, another planet? I dealt with 2 years. They tell me to put a mask on when I went to the vet to go get my dog checked out.
Yeah, exactly. But listen, don't fret. There's another 5. There's 10 altogether. I'm going to break all of them down.
But the top 5 are the things they've been fighting for the last 10 years.
Exactly.
They're going to throw them all away because of ICE. These people are so hypocritical. They told us they weren't in our country.
Yep.
That they weren't being let in. That they weren't on welfare.
That's
they
right.
Couldn't get SNAP. They couldn't get benefits. And all these things are true.
Yeah.
And now they're saying, how dare you? Send them back to their wonderful country. Their wonderful country.
Thank you.
Our country's so wonderful. We don't even want to go back to it. It's so
Exactly.
great.
I got to go. Thank you, boss man. I appreciate you. Let's get another check of weather and traffic. Mark Christopher is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Reese on the radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
This is absolutely classic case of misguided outrage. Let me read Steve L. Steve is out. Reese quite rightly calls out Blumenthal for being repugnant demonic filth, yet brags about having his cell phone number. What gives? Well, I've never called him out for being republic demonic filth. And I never bragged about having his cell phone number. I said I have his cell phone number. What gives? How about using that number to confront him on his vileness? Well, as I've said, and again, this is the point that I make online, Steve. And I had this conversation on Christmas with John. There are plenty of people who cannot stand Richard Blumenthal. I know what you can't stand about him, but let me ask you this question, and you can respond in the chat room if you choose to. You're in my position, and you want things done. Or let's even take that out of it. Let's just say you're in your position. You are who you are, and you have his telephone number. What would you do with it? What would be the thing you would use his telephone number for? You have it. Now, tell me what you do with it. Guide me on how I'm supposed to use his telephone number. And I tried to explain this to John, who, when I did, he understood. So let me break it down to you. In any event that you may have missed it, you probably don't listen all the time. And I respect that. So here's exactly how I explained it. When John was expressing to me on Christmas, man, I just can't get over that Vietnam thing. And I said, okay, duly noted. And I understand that. And do I find that behavior reprehensible? Absolutely. But I have a job to do. Blumenthal is the guy who's responsible for funding the use of DQuad in the Connecticut River. I want that stopped. I don't want him putting DQuad in the Connecticut River. I don't want him funding poisoning the waterways of Connecticut rivers. I have his telephone number. Tell me what you'd like me to use it for. Stopping DQuad in the waters, or do you want me to hammer him about Vietnam? And as you put it here, a vile, repugnant, demonic filth, you're telling me what you want me to do with his telephone number. But you jazz it up by saying I'm bragging about having his telephone number. Yes, I do have his telephone number. And he gave it to me because he called me on it. I didn't ask him for it. He called me on it. And here's what he did when he called me about it. You might have missed that part, too. He called me to apologize because he said, though I told him, that he asked for $100 million to poison the waterways in Connecticut. And he said that wasn't true. And then I showed him his actual quote. And he called me to apologize, which is a sign of good faith. And with that phone call, my relationship to Blumenthal is to get the dequat out of the water. So let me use it my way. When you get his number, use it yours. Let's get another check of traffic and weather. Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
The NAACP calls him, whoa, I don't think I'm allowed to read this.
It's Reese on the radio.
Let's just say some people are not fans.
On News Talk 1080.
WTIC.
I'll read the rest of this ICE stuff in a second. Have you ever used Grok, Roland, at all? Do you even know what it is? Okay, you haven't used it yet. Okay. None of it. Wow. Okay, so he says he hasn't used any of that AI stuff. I have, and I actually did something interesting because I see that, again, Fox News is overwhelmed with this Savannah Guthrie thing. And, well, Nancy Guthrie, her mom. I know it's like this overwhelming sense of urgency with this story. And it's just, I don't know, it's just everywhere. I just want to read something that I looked up. Let me see if I still have it here. There it is. So I asked ChatGPT this question. And it's just because I just wanted to know, based upon all the information, if Grok would come to the same conclusion that I was. So here's the question I asked. And I said, use your wisdom here. Channel the wits and deductive reasoning of Columbo and Sherlock Holmes and give me your honest answer. With all the information available, who is the most likely suspect in the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie? And it starts breaking down all of the, evidence and all of the stuff that is confirmed. It says, now the deductive part. Peeling back layers like Columbo with his one more thing. Stranger home invasion for kidnapping an 84-year-old low-profile, non-wealth displaying woman. Statistically rare. She's described as a low-risk victim by profilers, elderly, not flashy, quiet neighborhood. Random abductions of elderly for ransom are exceptionally uncommon compared to targeted crimes. Forced entry, camera tampering suggests planning, but the target feels mismatched for pure optimism. Ransom angle screams skepticism. Demands in crypto, untraceable, no proof of life, multiple notes, messages, one imposter already caught. These are hallmarks of scam artists jumping on high-profile cases. Insight knowledgeable thread. Details in some notes Apple Watch mentioned. Floodlight suggests familiarity with the home, family. Some investigators and private eyes have flagged that the abductor likely knew Nancy or had insider info. Family was together that night. Dropped off by son-in-law. Police visited daughter's home, Annie, with evidence bags and gloves recently. No one publicly accused, but everybody's included within the close circle. Most likely scenario is not a random stranger kidnapping for ransom. Too many red flags and on viability and motive is what it says. Which, again, I am inclined to believe this is a family member. I don't know why. I just don't know why, but it just does. It screams of it. It just does. And that's the part that I'm fearful of. And there's one angle. Annie is making me nervous. I feel uncomfortable whenever I see her in these videotapes with Savannah Guthrie. There's something about her look that just doesn't sit right. And everyone is suspecting her husband, Tommaso. And you, this is not a funny situation. What I'm about to say is funny to me in my head. Tell me that name doesn't sound like a Bond villain. Just tell me it doesn't. It's like it just lines itself up. It's like, I didn't ask for this. This guy's name is Tommaso. As soon as I heard the name, I went, he did it. I don't know why. It's the cynic in me. I need to work on that, Lord. Please help me work on that. But it's exactly what I thought. All of a sudden, they're telling me all the players, Savannah Guthrie, her sister Annie, I'm just going, and her husband Tommaso. I went, I'm laughing at myself. I'm not laughing at the situation, but it was one of those names that just made me go, that's a name I've not heard before. And you all of a sudden, and it's not being prejudiced. If anything, I'm being biased to the name. But Melody says, I absolutely agree with you about the family member. Yeah, I know. It just does. It just seems, everything just seems weird about this. The cryptocurrency angle, the sending the ransom to TMZ. I don't know. It screams of something else. Anyway, as I mentioned, 10 things Democrats are demanding that Donald Trump or the administration must change when it comes to ICE. The first 5 were targeted enforcement, which means they can't go on private property without a judicial warrant, which is ridiculous because then you have to get a warrant from who might be an activist judge who will not give the warrant, and they can't pick them up, and it just slows down the ICE agents. No masks. This is ridiculous because, again, they want them to be revealed solely for the purpose that if these people have to show their faces, more people will say, I don't want to do my job. And they definitely don't want to do it in blue cities. And blue cities know that their constituents will definitely dox these agents, without a doubt. Require ID, same thing as the mask. The only person who's going to ask the person for their ID is going to be Susan with a, double pump latte who's standing on the corner screaming at him, blowing a whistle. That in and of itself is stupid and ridiculous. Nobody should do it. Protect sensitive locations. They're saying that no one should be going to a medical facility, a school, a child care facility, church, or polling places, or also courts, which again is the most important because if somebody's going in there for a domestic violence charge, judges want to be able just to allow them to leave. So if you're standing at a courthouse to pick them up, this, of course, will, thwart them, and they want to make sure that these folks are not allowed or are allowed to go freely. This is number 5. They want them to stop racial profiling. Sorry, bud, not happening. What you should have done, what Joe Biden should have done, was open the southern border to Europeans and just let 20 million white folks come in. Should have let everybody from the Caucasoid Mountains across the globe through the southern border. But no, because he let everybody from Cameroon, the People's Republic of Congo, Djibouti, Haiti, Guatemala, Ecuador, El Salvador, all of them, let those in. Now, all of a sudden, it's racial profiling, which, again, is another word for please don't stop any brown people. The only ones they're allowed to pick up now are European nationals who overstayed their visas. Uphold the use of force standards. This is a place into law enforcement or law reasonable use of force policy, expanding training to require certification of officers. In the case of an incident, the officer must be removed from the field until the investigation is conducted. In essence, something like a Renee Good happens, that officer is off the beat. He cannot continue to do his duties. And, of course, if he's into a situation where there's an investigation that's warranted, in essence, the objective is to deplete the group or the amount of officers who are on there. ISIS already has a use stricter force rules anyway, so Republicans are like, go pound sand. Number 7, ensure state and local coordination and oversight. Now, this is my favorite part. This one is just telling you everything you need to know. So now, ICE would not have federal authority to go and arrest someone. And that, in essence, gives them authority. They can go into the state and do that. This would say they couldn't do it without the permission of the local government. So, in essence, the local government would be in charge of a federal agency. They would be giving them permission. You know the answer is pound sand with that one. Build safeguards into the system. I don't even know what that is. I think there's a reason why it's number 8 is because it doesn't make any sense. But here's what they say that means. To make clear that all buildings where people are detained must abide by the same basic detention standards that require immediate access to a person's attorney to prevent citizen arrest or detention. Have you seen the Connecticut prisons? Did you not see Devon Ward's comprehensive report? I know Blumenthal's not talking about that and ignoring the prisons here in Connecticut. You know what? Perhaps you're right, Steve. Maybe I should give him a call. I will ask him about that. I'll forward Devon's audit before I do it. Body cameras for accountability, not tracking. This is an interesting one as well. No tracking. Now, what they're concerned about is, first of all, if you're wearing a body cam and you're picking up an illegal, the tracking makes no sense because I got the guy and I'm putting him in a detention center. The tracking is about the protester. Because if the protester does something illegal or assaults the officer can use his recording device to track said individual, find them, and find out who they're funded by. So this is a cover for the, Alex Preddies or the Renee Goods in Minneapolis. That's what that's for. And last but not least, no paramilitary police, which is, again, ridiculous in and of itself because what they're calling paramilitary is the gear that ICE agents wear. They're referring to that as paramilitary. So they want to make them vulnerable to the public. Labeling ICE's gear as paramilitary is hyperbolic nonsense. It's protective equipment for dangerous jobs, not some stormtrooper fantasy. Softening it makes agents sitting ducks and high-risk cops. So, yeah, exactly. Imagine one of these people ends up getting assaulted with somebody with a knife. What happens then? But that's because the Democrats know that that's going to happen. So if the officer doesn't feel like he can protect himself, another deterrent. Nope, don't want to go to work today. Oh, you put me in Minnesota? I'll pass. That's how that goes. Hey, we're going to Chicago? Yeah, they're really, really strict about the paramilitary stuff. That's okay. I'm going to call out sick. That's exactly what all of that is about. So I don't think they're going to get it. I think the bill's going to pass. I don't think it'll be a government shutdown. I don't care what these Democrats say. It's all going to be the same. They're going to be. I think, again, it's a lot of grandstanding for no reason whatsoever. Anyway, when we come back, stupidest things I read today. That's right. Stupidest things I read today through no fault of their own. Also, I've got great music news today and sad news in the music world of a recent passing. We'll talk about that as well from a member of one of my favorite bands that I never got to see in concert, and I hate that I'm never going to see the full band in concert. Hopefully, maybe I'll get a chance to. But we'll talk about that as well. Also, we'll take your phone calls at 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. I've got to talk about Jonathan DeBarros. I saw him this weekend, and he said something interesting in a speech this weekend on Saturday that I kind of want to address because I posted it on Facebook. That there's a lot of things that people in the state who are angry are not understanding. And I'm hoping that I get through to them. And I do it with love and I do it with sincerity. But it's a criticism that must be made. And a lot of people out there know it. If you follow this show, if you listen to this show, I want you to stick around for that in the 5 o'clock hour. And I'm going to talk about all of that just after we do music news with Mark Christopher. Because he's a good music guy. Well, so's Roland, but, he's all Hoity-toity, he listens to. Do you have Bad Bunny records, by the way? Do you know any of his music? One of them he performed in Spanish. Oh, okay, so you really, really like him. Well, you kind of like him. If you only like... Okay, I'm not... look, if he's a decent artist, that's okay. I
didn't say he's like personal. It's different if you're talking about what I personally prefer. Then that's different. But he has songs that I jam to. Yeah, of course.
Okay, so you wouldn't say like. Would you consider him a consequential artist in the sense of his music's going to go down into like the folklore?
Maybe in the Latin culture, maybe.
Yeah, I really consider that it's sad, but I consider all of their music disposable.
Oh, Latin music?
No.
Oh, okay.
Reggaeton.
Oh, reggaeton. Okay.
Reggaeton.
Okay. Well, you can't. Well, I ain't gonna say that because Daddy Yankee was.
He was,
but he wasn't the originator of.
No,
it was Noriega was. People don't realize that.
Which Noriega?
The rapper Noriega. He was the originator of reggaeton.
Technically, you're right. That's absolutely right. Yes, he kind of did.
He created the whole movement, and then Daddy Yankee was up under him for a little while.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, interesting.
The hour that packs a punch. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, let's do our thing. News. Jared actually down in southern part of Connecticut loves that part of the show. Music news. You may have already heard about Kid Rock's lip sync accusation at the All-American halftime show. Viewers called out the rocker for allegedly faking it during his performance yesterday, sparking some backlash and some memes. I don't know. I watched it. I really can't tell when people lip sync, so I don't pay that much attention to it. But those of you who are snobs, obviously you did. It is also the 50th anniversary of Hotel California. That came out in February of 1976. I just mentioned that a moment ago. Greg Brown, the founding member of the group Cake. Now, you're not going to know them until Mark Christopher plays the songs, because I know he will. But they, of course, are the famous band with songs Going the Distance, one of my favorites, Short Skirt, Long Jacket, that is my all-time favorite Cake record, and Never There. All three are great bangers. A great group, a very eclectic group on stage. I never got to see them. I'm so sad that I haven't. But Cake founding member Greg Brown has passed away suddenly.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Go to the phones in a second. You know, what was the other thing that I saw yesterday that, I had to check a couple of people yesterday at the Super Bowl. Someone was talking about Green Day being at the pregame. They had a pregame performance. And somebody was like, hey, look, Green Day's up there. And I went, ugh. I just scoffed. And they were like, what's wrong with Green Day? And I'm like, first of all, Green Day was never punk. Like, people talk about Green Day like they were some edgy band. They were never edgy. Never. They were popcorn. Like when people try to say Blink 182 was edgy, they were corny. Maybe their earlier stuff before they were on MTV and VH1, they were edgy. Maybe, when no one was watching them, they were probably, screw the man. They were probably those guys. But once the cameras got on them and the concerts came, and sure enough, they were sponsored by, whatever, malt liquor. Whatever it was, all those folks changed. But let me explain this to you. You know what makes you no longer edgy? Here's what makes you no longer edgy. It's real simple, okay? Never, and I mean never, do a Broadway play or a Broadway musical. You can't. I can openly admit I owned the Dirty Dancing album. and it affects me in no way. Why? I'm eclectic. And there's no denying, if you go and look up the track list of the Dirty Dancing album, you know damn well that there's some really reputable music in that soundtrack. But however, Green Day, a punk band, doing a Broadway musical, like Rent, did a Broadway musical, and to consider themselves edgy, that's over. Your edge card gets taken. Now, there have been other notable rockers who have done Broadway. Here's one. Sting. He starred in and wrote the musical that was semi-autobiographical called The Last Ship in 2014. Sebastian Bach of Skid Row played the title role in Jesus Christ Superstar. Paul Stanley of Kiss appeared in Phantom of the Opera in 1999. I remember it well. And Bruce Springsteen, ham that he is, had an autobiographical concert show back in 2017 to 2018 called Springsteen on Broadway. What happened to him after that? He got soft. And I mean soft with a capital T. Soft. As did all of these guys. Sebastian Bach notwithstanding. I mean, I still think he's kind of cool. Still kind of edgy. Paul Stanley in Phantom of the Opera. Gimmicky, but it's Kiss. You know? If it had been somebody from Metallica, man card taken, without a doubt. Let's not forget two others. Joan Jett performed in a Rocky Horror show on Broadway. I'm sorry. Joan Jett, Nothing But Love, and in Rocky Horror, well deserved. That's not soft. Seeing her in Rocky Horror, wish I had had a chance to see her. Usher, R&B singer. Yeah, it doesn't matter. You sing R&B, of course, you belong on Broadway. Those boys are soft shoes. Sebastian Bach did Broadway, and Gilmore Girls still stayed cool, Lori Maz says. Yes, the Ramones never stopped being edgy. You're damn right. Can you imagine the Ramones on Broadway? Can you imagine? What about Tommy? I mean, Tommy, it's the Who. That makes sense. It's a rock opera. You know, like I wouldn't be mad at Meatloaf if he had done a, you know, if there was a Broadway. Meatloaf was in the Rocky Horror Picture Show. I mean, think about that. It's Meatloaf in the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Are you telling me that those things are few and, like far from each other? Like that's a leap? No. Meatloaf is perfect for that kind of musical theater. But Tommy, that's, you know. Let's go to Jerry. He's in Stratford. How you doing, Jerry?
Hey, Reese, my kind of edgy music is Blood for Blood. I Ain't Like You.
That's a band?
They're a local Boston hardcore band.
What kind of, what are we talking, death metal?
Hardcore's a little different than heavy metal. If you ever seen a kid slam dancing?
Oh yeah, of course.
Punching the crap out of each other. That's sort of the
mosh pit band.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. I got a music question and a Super Bowl show comment. The music question is, I think it was on Friday. You played a great gospel choir song about Don Lemon, and I've been trying to find it on the internet, and I can't. Can I ask you the name and who did it?
Actually, I will. You know, here's what I will do. So stand by. Are you friends of mine on Facebook yet?
I don't do Facebook.
Okay. Do you do anything online? Can you go to YouTube at all?
I think I can go to YouTube.
All right. Later on tonight, if not as early as tomorrow, I'm going to post the song so you can have it.
Perfect. Did you do it?
No, I had it done.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah, thank you.
It's great.
Thank you.
You know, full choir, backup vocals, and funnier than hell because it's truthful. Yeah, I think that's great.
Yeah, no problem. Give me your point of view on the halftime show.
Well, for like the last 20 years, I've made a point of either taking a walk or taking a drive because I don't want to, whatever it is they're promoting, whatever social activism they're trying to sell, I just wanted no part of it. But given the weather, so the 2 points are, one, I watched the Turning Point, whatever it's called.
Yeah, Turning Point All-American halftime show.
And I watched it on something called TBN, Trinity Broadcasting Network.
Yeah.
And I thought it was dull as dishwater. And part of the reason was because no matter how loud I cranked the sound on the TV, I just couldn't hear much. It was muffled. So I don't know if it was all the broadcast,
I think because the broadcast network you were watching it from was taking its feed from YouTube. So that's where the distortion may have been. Because YouTube is where most people watched it, and it turns out it was the most watched YouTube live event ever with 6.1 million folks.
Well, I'm glad they got people that at least weren't watching the other. With regards to the other show, you're right. Okay, so if you're a young person, this isn't going to have you change your moral code.
Exactly.
But it sounds like the two things I was worried about have happened based on what you described. One is it was an R-rated freak show.
Yep.
And people pushing crap that I think maybe children should not have been exposed to.
Absolutely not. In fact, I hear they broke a couple of FCC laws.
Well, I'm hopefully somebody will pursue it, and I think it's fair to say, parents, you cannot trust your children to the judgment of a Roger Goodell.
Boom.
It simply can't be. Another point is if you were, how like sometimes there's something that happens and then it just disappears from the news.
Yes, sir.
Well, an armed guy shot his way into the office building that housed the NFL, and he went to the wrong floor and shot.
That's right. I remember.
Investment bankers, and every time I've seen Goodell trying to justify the R-rated freak show, he looked like he was in a hostage video. So I'm wondering, was some message given that the public didn't see, other than like some guy that got his brain scrambled from not having proper headgear and made him want to.
Yeah, but that, you know what, you can't really attribute that to the NFL because the kid, he did in fact have CTE after, it turns out after his autopsy, he did suffer from CTE. But the worst off is that he didn't even make it to the NFL, which brings up another question. And people were trying to go with that, but I think it got squashed because the NFL is such a powerful entity. Here's what people were making the argument was, and I think this is the argument that the shooter was making, is that he was risking his brain so he can make it into the NFL. So the lure of the NFL, he believes, was putting him and others at risk, and that's why he was there to send a message. That's what they're saying according to why he was there. It's not so much that he played for the NFL. He believes that the NFL is responsible for corrupting the minds of young boys who wish to play for them, that they're actually damaging their own brains.
Well, when you see a 340-pound guy tackle a 240-pound guy violently with Choose Love on the back of his head, it's like, God, I hate to see what they would do if they had Choose Hate.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, thank you, buddy.
I'm glad I missed. Oh, hey, one more thing.
Real quick.
And that is the best Super Bowl show I've ever seen that I did watch was WWF some years ago with Mick Foley and some other guy beating the crap out of each other for 20 minutes. I
don't remember that one, but I've got to look it up now. Thank you, man.
Right now.
You got it. I don't have any time. You know what? I'll take Bob in Walcott real quick. How you doing, Bob? Bob, you there? Did we lose him? Okay. There he. Oh, Bob, he switched phones. There's Bob. Hey, Bob.
Hey, listen, I got to make a little update for you on this.
Yes.
Sebastian Bach also did Jekyll and Hyde on Broadway.
That's right. I knew he did another one.
And I remember, because I was a big Skid Row fan at the time, and I was looking at the program, and I'm like, Sebastian Bach. Holy. And my dad was sitting right next to me. Holy crap, it's Sebastian Bach. And my dad's like, You mean the pianist?
When I was doing research for that on the show, and I saw Sebastian Bach, I thought like your dad did. I went, that doesn't make sense. And I went, oh, that's Sebastian Bach.
The other thing is the comment that was made earlier about Kid Rock lip syncing.
Yes, I would say, yeah, that was some sort of controversy.
Bad Bunny was more than lip syncing.
Oh, yeah.
He would drop the microphone and the music would keep on going.
You know what? And
keep on going.
At this point, right, what's the most famous Star Spangled Banner at the Super Bowl known to man? The most famous one that everyone refers to that was flawless, and that was the one by Whitney Houston.
Yes.
Right?
And
which was 110% lip synced.
Oh, yeah. The other thing is people got to give Kid Rock a break when he's doing Ball with the Ball.
Yes.
All right? Because he was not lip syncing it. He had somebody helping him with that.
That's right.
I am an amateur singer. I've tried doing that song by myself. It cannot be done by yourself.
Absolutely. And I'm not going to lie, when I watched him do that, he jumped up. When he jumped up in the air and he said, my name is, and he came back there and said, my name is Kid, I went, the kid still got it.
He does.
He still got it.
I've seen him do that song live online a lot of times, and it's a guy in his band that sounds just a little bit like him, helping him out.
That's smart.
He'll do some lyrics, and then he'll drop the mic, and he'll take a gasp of air while his bandmate will pick it up for him. Because it just cannot be done.
Yeah, that makes sense. But I appreciate it. Thank you, man, for all of that info. And I'm going to give him a pass on the lip sync thing anyway. Thank you, buddy. When we come back, we'll talk to Dr. Steve. He's on the line.
The Odyssey app lets you jump back to the moments you missed from WTIC News Talk 1080. Download the free Odyssey app. Search WTIC News Talk 1080 and tap earlier today to get started.
That's right. Make sure you always download the Odyssey app or go to WTIC.com or ReeseOnRadio.com to catch the show from the beginning, because a lot of you do join the show later on. And in today's show, you missed the opening monologue, which, of course, I gave my rendition of the halftime show with Bad Bunny, or I think my wife calls him Horrible Rabbit. But nonetheless, for those of you who did miss it or, went out there and you couldn't catch it, I gave my rendition of it, which you may have missed. And if you did, it went a little something like this. Ladies and gentlemen, we begin with Super Bowl 60's Taco Bell halftime show. And then Bad Bunny came out to his music, and he began to sing Spanish words, 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 Spanish words. Taco, burrito, cuchifrito, motoritos, avocado, Monte-Carlo, Serrano, Ricky Ricardo. Spanish words, Spanish words, Spanish words, Spanish words, Spanish words, Spanish words. These are Spanish words, Spanish words. That was the whole thing. Yes, fantastic performance. Spanish words. That's why you should download the Odyssey app or go to ReeseOnRadio.com or WTIC.com to get the show so you can enjoy it, because there's a lot of good stuff in the beginning. And we always have fun. When we come back, we'll talk to Dr. Steve. Also, I said Jonathan DeBarros was giving a speech after I did yesterday at this event. And, Jonathan is a good guy. And when I say a good guy in the sense of he means well. And I know he's out there, kicking butt and taking names. He and I see the world from different views. I used to be a lot like Jonathan. I get the whole thing of wanting to go scorched earth. He may think that I'm a little soft in that regard. I'm not. I have this one saying, and I posted it on Facebook, and I like to read it to you.
And it says, no one ever won a war settling old scores. The battle's ahead. And I don't want to fight about stuff that's already happened, whether I lost the fight, or I took casualties. If I'm still alive, the war's ahead of me. I can sit back all day and take care of all of the other old stuff, or I can forge forward. And I'm a forge forward guy. I believe in winning the war. So I hope you guys see it that way. I know there's some doubters out there, but that's okay. We got plenty of time. We're going to be all right. Let's get another check of traffic and weather. Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is.
You know who it is. You know who it is.
It's Reese on the radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
We are back. Michael B. says, now I'm going to have Spanish words stuck in my head. That's the plan. Roland, one of your boys who is probably listening now, so we're not going to say his name, although I should give him a shout out. I want to thank him. He's a hate watcher of the program. Or hate listener. Does he listen or does he watch? Is he a listener?
I don't know if he listens all the time, but yeah. I guess sporadically.
He comes back to the program. We're like, I consider us like a fine wine that you always come back to. That, of course, in his case, tastes horrible, but he can't stop drinking. That's what it is. But I just want to thank him. I want to give him some love. Thank you for always coming back to the show. He kindly said that I hate that guy Reese, but I cannot lie. That Spanish words thing was hilarious.
Yeah.
He loved it, right? Well, I just want to give him a shout out.
He thought it was funny.
He thought, of course he did. Of course he did. I'm not sitting up here just spitting in my chair. This actual talent. I'm kidding. But I want to give him a shout out. He knows his name, and I just thank him for listening to the program. It means everything to me. So, yes, if you got that sitting in your head, that's my fault. I totally blame myself. And you're welcome. That's what I'm saying. Dr. Steve, it's been a while. How are you, sir?
Yeah, long time. Nice talking to you, Reese.
What do you got?
I was going to call. I wanted to talk about the National Park Service, but I think I do want to pivot to the comment on the Bad Bunny. Your comment on the Bad Bunny thing.
Okay.
I'll do the National Park Service another day.
Okay.
So, this is a somewhat personal question, but do you go to church sometimes on Sundays?
Do.
Or you do, okay. And at church, I have frequented church, and I know that oftentimes the music there is, of course, not in English. It's oftentimes in Latin or German. Of course, a lot of it is in English, but depending upon the church you go to and the traditions of that church.
Yes, I spent a lot of my life in the choir at St. Gabriel's Church in Queens, and we sang Latin.
Yeah, me too. I sang in the choir for a long time, too. So how many people in America speak Latin?
No, it's a dead language.
Yeah, it's a dead language. How many people in America speak Spanish?
From what I gather, I think the number says somewhere around 20%.
It's around 40 million or so, and about three quarters of them are bilingual.
Yes.
So when I see Bad Bunny singing in Spanish at the Super Bowl, he's catering to 40 million speakers of Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
As an American, he is and was born in American territory. He
Absolutely.
is born an American citizen. And so I think when we vilify the guy for speaking Spanish, I think that's wrong, and I think it's offensive.
Steve.
And I think,
wait, I'm sorry.
To,
hold on. Dr. Steve. Dr.
Puerto Rico
Steve.
doesn't even have tacos and burritos. That's not even a part of Puerto Rico.
Dr. Steve, we know it's not. That's the whole thing. Now, somebody mentioned this to me earlier, right? In fact, Marquise, this guy who refuses to come on my show, but he's a big influencer. He refuses to come on my show. So here's the first thing he pointed out. He goes, Puerto Ricans don't even eat tacos. First of all, that's a lie. Okay? This is where you guys defending something walk into a buzzsaw. So you're going to sit up here and tell me that Puerto Ricans don't eat tacos, and your evidence of that is what?
Okay, so first off, I've spent about 21 days in Puerto Rico, and I'm not saying Puerto Ricans don't eat tacos.
You just said that, Steve. You just said that, Dr. Steve.
I'm saying tacos and burritos are not from Puerto Rico.
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Puerto Rico.
Hold on. Here's where I'm going to make my argument. I'm going to make it absolutely, it's the most brilliant argument I can make, because clearly nobody was paying attention. At the end of Bad Bunny's performance, which is, again, why I was paying attention to it, I don't go into these things watching them and going, okay, let me just watch it and blah, blah, blah. I actually watch them and take note, not mental, notes of the events that are going on in there. Do you know that at the end, while he was speaking in Spanish, at the end of the performance, he starts mentioning other Latin or Hispanic countries? Did you know he did that?
Of course I do.
Okay.
He named every one.
That's correct.
Of course I did.
It is fair to say that he was appealing to those nations that do eat tacos, yes?
That's namely Mexico.
But he was appealing to them, which is why I said in my song, Spanish words. Not Puerto Rican words. I said Spanish words. Spanish words. He was speaking in a language that appealed to people who understood Spanish words. Yes?
You're not going to get me to agree with you.
No. Was he singing songs to appeal to an audience that you brought up, Dr. Steve? You said he was appealing to over 40 million people who speak Spanish. So when I say Spanish words like taco, burrito, those things that I'm saying in a joking way are Spanish words appealing to all types of people who speak Spanish. So you now want to isolate. You want to have it both ways. You want to say that he appeals to many groups of people or many flavors of Hispanics who are Mexican, Guatemalan, Spain, Brazil, whatever. The point is, when they speak Portuguese anyway. But the fact is that he's appealing to all of these people who speak Spanish and drink and eat all types of different foods and have come, different cultural things. And the only thing I mentioned in my song was Spanish words, and I brought up tacos, which is a Spanish food, okay? Burritos, which is a Spanish food. These things are eaten by plenty of groups, and then you guys all of a sudden say I'm making fun of Puerto Ricans, which I'm not, because he wasn't appealing to just Puerto Ricans. Come on, tell me I'm wrong, because you know he wasn't. And let me go one step further. Now, just to get to your 40 million people thing, and you not having a problem with it. According to the numbers that just came out, 135 million people watched the Super Bowl, including the halftime show.
Okay.
How does that 40 million stand up? That means that over 90 million people who watched it did not speak Spanish. Why would the minority be more important?
Well, I don't know what proportion of viewers. By the way, the Super Bowl is, of course, watched internationally.
Yes, it is.
But even for the American audience, I don't know what proportion speak Spanish. I speak Spanish.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, so I understood much of what he said, and I can't say how many viewers spoke Spanish. I don't know, but I will say that if 60 years of Super Bowls have not had a Spanish-speaking halftime show, it's not unreasonable to have one that is.
Well, okay. Let's go another step further. Let's go a step further.
If next year's is also in Spanish, then I think it's completely reasonable to say that would not be appropriate.
Okay, well, let's go one step further. Let's go one step further. Let's say it's in Mexico at a World Cup match, and a large and the countries that are playing is Guatemala versus Mexico at a Mexican place that holds up to 80,000 people. And the halftime or the intermission performance is by a K-pop band, BTS.
Nice.
Okay, because they are trying to expand the World Cup to Korea. Would you call that wise?
Well, no, I would not call that wise. I would say I love the comparison there. That's very humorous. I'd love to see that actual occur in history. But suffice it to say that's an extreme example, and I think America.
Is it?
Well, what's the second most common language spoken in America is Spanish.
Okay,
and
but I hope. But Dr. Steve, I hope you don't. I hope you understand this. What I did was satire. My wife is Mexican. Yeah. You know that, right?
No, I was not aware of that.
Okay, my wife is Mexican. So when I was saying Spanish words, I was actually making fun of us who do not understand Spanish. And people were saying, I'm not going to watch it because I'm not going to understand what he's talking about. So I'm poking fun at making the performance a bunch of Spanish words by just saying Spanish words, because, again, we don't know what he's talking about. And I'm making fun of the fact that we can't understand it.
And if it's all in good fun, then
of course it is.
Then you have my back. I think it can come across as offensive, and when I first heard it, I was offended. That's all.
The first time you heard it earlier when I started the show with it, you thought I was being offensive?
Well, it can be construed as offensive.
Okay, it's all right. No. Listen to me. I have no control over how people receive the show. I cannot. But if I have to, like I said, if I have to explain it to let people know that this is more fun. And not only that, I backed it up afterwards by saying I didn't see what the big deal was. Now, I understand that there's some reports that say that he was using all types of expletives while speaking in Spanish, which would only lend itself to what I'm talking about. And that is, by having this performance happen, he was on stage saying the most suggestive and dirty things that you could not say if you were speaking English, runs into another buzzsaw that the NFL is going to have to explain. And it'll be far worse than its debacle with Nipplegate and Janet Jackson. Is that fair?
That may well be true. I definitely, he speaks at a rate that I can't possibly understand, so there's no question I did not catch every word or even half the words.
Yeah.
So, maybe. I don't know. Hard to say.
But we'll see what, like I said, we'll see what happens. But I think that the point of the joke is the fact that there are Spanish words, and if you were listening to any of the words that I said, Ricky Ricardo, for crying out loud, Doritos.
No, that's funny. That's funny. I'll give you that. I just wish you'd also said mofongo or something else. Maduro.
I forgot about mofongo. I totally forgot about. I totally forgot about mofongo. That's what's the name? That's Big Papi. That's one of his favorite meals.
It's definitely a Puerto Rican.
That's a Dominican food.
Puerto Rico.
Mofongo's a Dominican food.
All the islands there in the Caribbean, including Puerto Rico. I can't remember if mofongo is officially from Puerto Rico or from Dominican Republic, but either way, similar origins.
Indeed. Thank you, Dr. Steve. I always appreciate you keeping me honest.
Until next time.
You got it, boss. Stevie V's in Waterbury. What's up, buddy?
Well, it's not the first time they use Spanish at the Super Bowl. We do it every year.
We do?
Every time they do the Star Spangled Banner, we'll say, "Can you see?"
You ain't right. I thought you were going to say, well, you know what? They always tell us that it's simulcast in Spanish, which, by the way, I actually check it. When they do that, I actually check out to see what it sounds like in Spanish, just to see because I always wonder if they have like an Al Michaels type guy who's doing the play-by-play. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
I always look at it that way.
Gotcha. Two things. We had a Price Right open here in Waterbury.
Okay.
And they had a Spanish DJ playing Spanish music.
Really?
And they even had a raffle. I was afraid that when they were going to call the numbers, actually I met a group of people that were like a Spanish Jeep club. They all had Jeeps, and we got along really well.
Uh-huh.
I was afraid they were going to read the numbers in Spanish, and they didn't speak one word of English until they did the contest. But I also want to talk about that video that everybody's complained about with Trump being racist.
Oh, yeah. The monkey video.
That video's been around since October. He did not create it. People did not create it, as far as I know. That's been around for a while. I've seen it before, and when I looked it up, supposedly been around.
Listen to me. Every black person who tried to promote that thing as a racist video by Donald Trump broke their arm trying to make that reach, my friend. It was the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. That's why I paid no mind to it.
I thought it was pretty cute, actually. It was pretty clever, whoever did it.
Yeah, exactly. Again, just typical nonsensical internet stuff that people would go, oh, it was offensive. Shut up. See, people are dumb.
If you look at, they also did Joe Biden. Look how many times they
exactly
like some kind of an ape or gorilla or whatever.
Exactly. Didn't they make Hakeem Jeffries a lemur?
I think so.
Yeah, I think he's a lemur.
Yeah.
Thank you, Stevie B. I appreciate you, buddy. You got it.
Yeah.
Let me read these real quick. Chris says, Dr. Steve is forgetting about the Americans. Americans have manners, and when you enter into someone's house being a guest, you speak the language spoken in that house. Bad Bunny is a reflection of the Hispanic people in general that are very disrespectful. That is why we are living through this nightmare of the invasion of them. Zap says Bunny should have had closed captioning translation so we could all know what the lyrics are. Is there a transcript available with the lyrics translated?
You could have had that on your TV, though.
Yeah, you had to have it on your TV. Although, what's his name? Representative Fine it's got a thing online with the lyrics. Donald Trump Jr. has also posted the lyrics online. And it appears, Congressman Randy Fine, on his X profile, he has the actual words, and it turns out that he may have been in violation of FCC with some of the language, because you can't curse even in Spanish on the airwaves. So
you do know he performed in the Super Bowl already, though.
He did?
Yeah, with Shakira. He was a special guest.
Oh, that's right. He was there. This is not his first time. That's right, 100%. Yeah, I mean, listen, I thank you guys. I appreciate you. Anyway, I got to go. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your minds. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the radio. You have a good night and a pleasant tomorrow. We'll see you back here at 2 p.m. Make sure you're here, because Mark Christopher's getting you home. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Good night, sir.